Assalamu alaikum. One question. Is the Quran the guidance for mankind? Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that all Muslims will say yes, right? But God says the Quran can guide, but can also misguide. Now, how does that work? He says, in this book, there are verses that are specific, they are the foundation of the book, and there are verses that are ambiguous. Anyone in whose heart is deviation, they follow the unspecific part, trying to seek an interpretation. Now let me give you a verse as an example. Read. Believe in what was sent down to Muhammad. It is the truth from their Lord. He remits their sins and relieves their concerns. Now, your brain automatically fills in who the he is referring to. Now, in this case, if you are idolizing, you read, Muhammad remits their sins and relieves their concerns. If you do not associate anything with God, you read, God remits their sins and relieves their concerns. Now, this is an obvious example because we all know that only God forgives sins. But what if it would only say, He relieves their concerns? Then you'd be like, who is it referring to? It could be about the Prophet as well, right? But like that, there are countless of verses in the Quran where you can interpret it to be about the Prophet, for example. The Quran is like a miraculous book that can give you what you are looking for. Like even Christians who believe in a Trinity will see the Trinity confirmed in the Quran, which is like unimaginable for us, but yes. So in this case, how do you know that you are interpreting the Quran the right way? And for that you say, well, I'm going to read the hadiths, I'm going to read the tafsir, and I'm going to take classes with a scholar, and then sure, I will be well guided. But God says, there is no point in doing all that. Why? Because guidance comes from God. Not even the Prophet could guide who he wishes. No one can. But anyone who is guided by God, no one can lead him astray. Now, this guidance, the Christians call it the Holy Spirit, Muslims call it Hidayah. That is a force that will guide you. It's like an enlightenment, you know? That is the guidance that we seek. That is the true guidance. The Quran is only a method. Just like God says, the Quran can even mislead you the way that you are interpreting it. Well, that is the point. The true guidance comes from God. That is why you have to seek the guidance. You cannot find it anywhere else. So now, what are you supposed to do then? If you are all alone with the Quran, you know? God says, whenever you read Quran, seek refuge with God from Satan the outcast. Satan has no authority over those who believe and trust in their Lord. Did you hear that? Believe and trust in God. God says, whoever calls out to him, he will answer. Whoever has faith in him, he will be there. The Prophet says, we are commanded to surrender to the Lord of the worlds. So put your trust in him. That is the only way. So don't be afraid to be alone, you know. People always seek confirmation in the outside world. They want to know that they are doing it right. They want to see that reflect back on them. So many people do what others are doing, you know, because they think we must be doing it right. We cannot all be wrong, right? But God actually says, yes, you can. If you obey majority, they will divert you from God's path because they follow nothing but assumptions. Same as you, because you think if I do like they are doing, we must be right. But the true test of faith is your trust in God. That is Islam. That is the religion of submission. God alone. Islam is not about the Prophet Muhammad or any of the prophets. All prophets are equal. We make no distinction between them. But whenever God alone is mentioned, people turn their backs in aversion because they need an idol. And even Muslims took an idol because they say, you cannot be alone with God. You need to read hadiths. Even when God says, in what hadith after the Quran are they going to believe? Shall I seek a judge other than God when He is the one who revealed to you the book explained in detail? The true test of faith is your faith in God. I hope that made sense. May God guide us all. God bless you. Assalamu alaikum.